I don't want to talk about specific players. It's a team thing. When it's a team thing, it's a manager thing. So we will try to address that. That is, it has to be with a lack of urgency to defend the box and to attack the box.
And also, by the way, he has a belief that you want to get a lot of players, or half your players, most of your players, from the same league you're playing in.
How is supposed to feel a manager of Manchester United in that position? Embarrassed, and his heart was set. And I think everybody has to think seriously about a lot of things here. So everybody is thinking about the final. The final is not the issue in this moment in our club. We have bigger things to think.
We need to not be scared to blow the whole thing up and start all over again. I'm going to tell you something about Ruben Amorim. When he went to Sporting on his first transfer window, he let go of over 20 of Sporting's players. My manager's fed up. I think my manager is fed up. He's had enough. In this press conference, he sends a clear message, I think. It's a little cryptic maybe, but it's a clear message to INEOS about what needs to happen this summer transfer window, or else I think he just pretty much threatened that him and his team are going to walk away. We're going to dive right in and talk about that in today's video. What's up, YouTube? Thank you so much for joining me once again. Thank you for clicking on the thumbnail. Thank you for all of those who are always watching the videos. Guys, hit the like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, hang out, listen to what I have to say. Maybe you'll like it. And if you do, drop that subscribe if I earned it at the end of this video. So let's dive right in. The manager had this to say.
So we need to change a lot of things during the summer.
And shortly after that, he added these remarks.
We need to be really strong in the summer and to be brave because we will not have a next season like this. If we start like this, or if the feeling is still here, we should give the space to different persons.
Now, to me, this means this is a clear sign to INEOS that a lot of things need to change this summer. I mean, it's not even that cryptic. He pretty much said it in his own way without throwing the players under the bus and talking about which players he wants to get rid of. Now, listen, as a fan base, I can see on Twitter that we are going pretty crazy asking for the manager's head. Some fans are ready to sack this manager. They can't fathom the fact that we're in 16th, 17th place, just one place away from relegation spots, and they think it's all the manager's fault. Any other manager or competent manager would have got us more wins. And maybe you're right, but here's the deal. You're not right in the right ways, and this is what I mean. I think if you got in like a big Sam Allardyce, a David Moyes, they would have got more wins than Ruben Amorim did. That doesn't make them better managers than Ruben Amorim. It makes them more pragmatic, more practical, someone who's willing to sit back, absorb attacks, and then hit on the counter, which is the only, I don't want to say the only, but pretty much the only thing we're pretty good at. And it's something we've been good at for years since Sir Alex Ferguson left. We've been pretty good at the counter. Has that won us any major trophies, and has that made you happy as a Manchester United fan because we've been pretty good at the counter? No. The best we did was finish second place, and again, those seasons where we finished second place, I urge you to take a look at how many of those goals came from counter-attacks, came from Rashford going in behind, Bruno sending a long ball. And if we didn't have that attack, the counter-attack, we probably would have lost 30% of our games those seasons. Then the only reason why we won is because of counter-attacking goals. And that's the transitional play is something we're good at. We're not good at many of the other aspects of the game. And being a one-trick pony in this league, the Premier League, you're pretty much not going to finish in the top 4 spots every single season because you're basically going to get found out. You're going to get found out. We've been found out before, and we have had some bad seasons before. Maybe not 17th place bad, but like I said, this manager is not pragmatic. He's not the kind of manager who's going to throw his whole tactics out the window just to try to win a game by having everybody sit back and hitting on the counter. And I guarantee you this, that if some other manager had come in and we had won more games, the best we would have finished is 8th. Maybe 7th, and that's the best we would have finished with this squad. Maybe, by the way, like I want to say 10th, but some people are going to call me crazy if I say 10th. So I'm going to give it benefit of the doubt and give it 8th or 7th. We definitely would still finish pretty bad, and people would still want that manager sacked. Graham Potter, whoever you name that was available instead of getting Ruben Amorim in when it was time to sack Erik ten Hag, whoever you name would not have been able to do much better than that, and only if they counted on the counterattack, the transitional play, the sit back, soak in, and then transition quickly and try to get up the field. Probably would have had to keep Rashford happy because you'd need him to add to that. Garnacho and Rashford would be starting. I don't know how much playing time Ahmad would get unless at the end of games, if nothing's happening in transition and the other team's sitting deep, if the manager happens to fancy Ahmad, he would put Ahmad in. But this manager has given Ahmad playing time that the old manager did not. There's a lot of things that this manager has fixed. He's made us good defensively without having to sit back and soak in pressure. He's made us pretty good defense. He's improved a lot of aspects of our play. He just hasn't been getting the results. And yes, he is somewhat to blame, I guess, because he's unwilling to do whatever needs to be done to get a result, which is play some boring football and hit other teams on the counter. And like I said, if that's what you want, that's not going to lead us to the promised land, and that might not expose all the weaknesses we have in this team, hence not helping our recruiting department actually recruit the right way. Ever since we got rid of Sir Alex Ferguson and Ed Woodward took over for David Gill, we had David Moyes, we had Louis van Gaal, we let them down because our recruitment during their times was pure crap. And then we got Mourinho, who we also let down. We didn't give him the tools he needed. He needed better defenders than the ones he had to play the kind of game he wanted to play. Listen, I'm not saying we didn't spend big money, but I mean, Ed Woodward came out and said, we can do things in the transfer window that other clubs can only dream of. I'll never forget that quote because he did things in the transfer windows that other clubs, I guess, might have dreamt of, but I think that's only foolish clubs who aren't recruiting for a style of play or any kind of coherent squad building exercise. Squad building is absolutely massive if you want to win. That's what Ralph Rangnick told us when Ralph Rangnick came out and said that this whole thing needs to be like demolished and built again. Or the way he said it with the heart surgery, but this is what he meant. The whole thing needs to be demolished and built over again from the ground up and built right this time. And this is what Ruben Amorim's telling you in this press conference. He's giving you a little bit of a taste of that Ralph Rangnick whole thing where we need to be strong. We need to be brave. We need to not be scared to blow the whole thing up and start all over again. I'm going to tell you something about Ruben Amorim. When he went to Sporting on his first transfer window, he let go of over 20 of Sporting's players. Listen to what I just said. He let go of over 20 of Sporting's players. And Sporting's not this big, massive club with a bunch of money to throw around. The players he couldn't get sold, he sent out on loan. He sold more than 8 of Sporting's players, and he sent out on loan another 15 player. It was a crazy amount. I forgot exactly the number, but when I counted how many players left that summer, whether on loan or sold, it was over 20 players. I looked this up about 8 months ago, by the way, when he first joined our club. Maybe it was like 6 months ago. When he first joined, whenever that was, I looked up how many changes did he make in the first transfer window that he got with Sporting. And it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous how many players he got rid of. That's exactly what he's talking about here when he's telling us we need to be strong, we need to be brave. And if we start next season the same way as this season, maybe I need to open up some space for somebody else, from other people to come and take over. That's not just something you throw away. That's not a throwaway comment. And I think it's being misread in the media to mean something different. I think the media is interpreting it to mean if he doesn't do well in the first couple of months, he's going to walk away. That's not what I think he said. I think that he was saying things like, we need to make big changes this summer. We need to be strong. We need to be brave, to let INEOS know that, hey man, if we're not going to get rid of the players I think aren't going to pull their weight around here, and if we're not going to replace them and upgrade them, we're probably going to get the same results, and I'm just going to resign, or I'm walking away, and or you're going to sack me, or whatever it is. I don't know if he'll walk. Maybe he'll do a mutual, I'll walk away sack, so he gets half the money he's supposed to get if he gets sacked. Whatever it is, he's going to get out of the club. Because this summer, they have to help him build this team from the ground up. And I'm telling you right now, if some of you guys who want Amorim out get your wish, that's not because it's going to be a financial decision, because Amorim's going to want to sell more players, get rid of more players than INEOS might want. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm saying if they decide to part ways, it'll be because of financial reasons, because believe me, INEOS probably does not want to part ways, because they paid a fee to get him in the first place, and they're going to end up having to pay again. And they just got done. Well, they're still paying Erik ten Hag. They're probably still playing Dan Ashworth. I'm not sure if they are, but all these things cost them money. The last thing they want to do is come out and say that the manager we brought in midseason, who told us he didn't want to join midseason and we forced him to come in midseason, was also a mistake that we're going to pay for. You can't keep piling on mistake after mistake. At some point, you have to back the decision you made and give the man what he needs, because I'm sure this man has given you ample reasons, data too, with his data team and his other coaches, that show you why some of his players that he has don't fit what he's trying to do. And if Jason Wilcox is half the technical director that we all want to believe he is, and that what Sir Jim Ratcliffe told us, that we're trusting Jason's eyes, if Jason's eyes are half as good as mine, and if you've been with me for a while, and by the way, if you're new to this video and you don't know who I am and you don't know what I'm talking about, please watch, after you watch this video, watch this video, which I will link. Whoops, that side. Sorry. Watch this video, which I will link at the end of this video to the card. You'll see it at the end of this video. Click on that and watch that video. And it's basically my best of hits, or whatever you want to call it, of the tactical things that I've seen Ruben do with Sporting that he's trying to implement at Manchester United, so you understand what it is he's trying to do and what it is our players are bad at. And by the way, those of you who joined me for my last watch along last week, what was it, for the Europa League semifinal game, and I told you guys that you guys asked me to make a Spurs video, a Spurs final video, like what do I think we need to do to beat Spurs and stuff like that. I'm actually in the middle of working on that video. I wasn't even going to make this video until I heard that press conference, and I got heated hearing him talk like that, and I totally agree with everything he's saying. But I am working on the Spurs video. It is coming soon. Give me another 3, 4, or 5 days. We'll get that Spurs video out. And in that Spurs video, I actually wanted to talk about something that Ruben actually brought up today in the press conference, when he said that we need to keep trying to score the goals. We need to get a second chances. We need to cross the ball in the box. Here's a little sample of what he said.
We need to be more aggressive. If you cannot score in the first ball, the second ball, if we cross the ball, if we are aggressive, we can score.
In my Spurs video that I've already worked on and I've already put a little bit together, I actually say this, that we're not crossing the ball enough for a Ruben Amorim system. We need to be pinging balls in the box. We need to be a threat all the freaking time, and we need to stop babysitting the ball. You'll see what I mean when you watch that Spurs video. Let's get back to this video in our discussion about Ruben Amorim and backing him and what I think he's doing, which is what he's telling INEOS, that it's time to back me this summer. It's time to be brave, and it's time to dump these players out of here who are not pulling their weight. Guys, I don't care on what side of the fence you stand on. I don't care if you want Ruben Amorim out or you're Ruben Amorim in. You have to admit that we have some players who are definitely not Manchester United quality. This may be the worst strike force I have seen in my lifetime. Guys, I'm older than most of you guys. There's some of you who are actually older than me, which makes me happy, by the way. Hi, Marcus. But most of you guys are younger than me. I've been around a while. I've watched Manchester United since I was 5 or 6 years old, I think, is when I started to get into them, and because my father, and those are my earliest memories. I probably watched them even before that, but I can't remember when I was 2 or 3. But I do remember being 5 and 6 years old watching Manchester United, and I'm telling you, I grew up through these decades of watching them, and I can't remember a strike force worse than the one we have right now. I can't remember a strike force worse than the one we have right now. Guys, we don't have 3 quality forwards. I can't even tell you guys if we have one forward that could lace up boots with any of our forwards from past generations, from my time of growing up and watching Manchester United. Not one. I can't tell you, I can't sit here and realistically say, Garnacho would be able to play with that squad. No, I did. No, Rasmus, let's not even go there. Like, that's not even close. That's not even close. Ahmad, maybe, but it's not a shoo-in. I don't know. I don't know if Ahmad can get in over any of the other 3 forwards we had in the squads in past generations. I really don't think so. He's probably the closest. But that's how, Xerxes, no. That's how bad our strike force is. This is the worst it's ever been. It's actually even worse than what Louis van Gaal had. It's worse than what Mourinho had. It's worse than even what Ralph Rangnick had for the little time he was here. It's worse than any strike force we've ever had. It's even worse than when we brought in Ighalo or whatever his name was on loan. Guys, we cannot blame not scoring goals on Ruben Amorim when this is what he has to work with. And none of this was his decision. He didn't bring any of these guys in. And that's what I said. Like, when he got into Sporting, he built a team based around what he needs. If we're not going to let the system manager that we recruited, that we studied, we looked at, we watched for over a year and decided that this is what we want to do. We want to change directions from Erik ten Hag to go into this kind of system manager. And from now on, we're going to recruit for a style of play, for a system. And then we don't do it and we don't back them. Well, then INEOS isn't the right owners, and we can't be sitting here turning a blind eye to another major mistake that INEOS has made of bringing in Ruben Amorim midseason and letting Erik ten Hag go. And for those of you, again, who want to get Ruben Amorim sacked, I forgot to mention, what did you want? Do you want someone to come in who's going to play 4-3-3? Because we sucked at that too. Because I see too many comments on Twitter or online about, it's his system, the 3-4-3 is never going to work, blah, blah, blah. The 3-4-3, working or not working, it doesn't matter, because the 5-2-3, the 4-2-3-1 to 4-3-3, none of that shit worked either. We were bad and we sucked with that too. It's the squad. It's the quality of the play. I don't care what system you're running. If your players can't make simple passes with good weight so that other players can run onto the ball instead of having to wait for it because it's a little bit behind them, that little bit makes a big difference in the Premier League when windows open and shut. Windows of opportunity, that is. Lanes, passing lanes, open and shut quickly. And then when you have guys who lay on the ball for too long instead of crossing it in when there's finally a cross to be made, then you don't get chances. This is really bad. Watch my next video. I got some stuff I'm going to show you from the Spurs game. Guys, I don't even like making those strategy videos because I notice how awful we are, because I'm having to rewatch games just to make a video that you guys asked me for. And honestly, I just sit there rewatching a game from 3 months ago going like, oh my God, we are so freaking bad. We are so freaking, and because I try to be optimistic when I make these videos, because I already know that most of the fan base is not really happy. So I want to be optimistic and give you guys a reason to be, I don't know, like looking forward to something. But honestly, no, he's right when he looks like this in his press conference and when he says the things like, we need to be brave, we need to be strong. Even us as fans, we need to be strong, we need to be brave, and we need to let people go. Even if it's the best, your favorite player, if your favorite player has to be sold so that this manager can get what he wants, don't complain and let your favorite player go, man. If he comes out and says Kobbie Mainoo's got to be sold, or if he decides to sell Kobbie Mainoo, let it go. Let it go. If he decides to sell Garnacho, which is what I actually hope happens. And let me explain before you jump down my throat. If he decides to sell Kobbie Mainoo, then I hope Garnacho, Rasmus, and everybody else is leaving too, because he's going to have a rough time. He's going to have a rough time explaining to the fan base why Garnacho got to stay and why Rasmus got to stay if Kobbie is being sold. You know what I mean? That's what I meant when I said I really hope that's what happens. I didn't mean like I hope he sells everybody. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I hope that if he does a clear out, he does a real clear out. And especially if he sells a fan favorite like Kobbie Mainoo, then I hope he sells a Garnacho and a Rasmus too, so that everybody can sit back and go, well, I mean, he's doing a full clear out. He's not really disliking one player over another. He's basically saying everybody's going, everybody who I can sell to raise money so that I can back myself and get the players in that I need to run my system. Because I think that's what's going to come down to. This manager is trying to get INEOS to back him, and he's also trying to be brave and back himself and say like, hey man, for me to back myself, I got to sell 3-4 young players who can bring in some money, because we need that money to get 7-8 more players. Now don't get me wrong, we're selling Anthony, we're selling Marcus Rashford. The story is we're getting $5 million to take Jadon Sancho back. So we're getting $5 million to take Jadon Sancho back. We hopefully can sell him for another 15 or 20 million. And if we can't, we'll probably loan him out and have someone else pay most of his wages. But we'll get $5 million for him. And who else? Mason Greenwood is probably going to get sold, and we're going to get some money from that sale. There's a good chance Alvaro Carreras, whatever his name is, he gets sold, and we get some money from that sale. So we are getting some money coming in, but it's not enough money to go out and spend $250 million, which is what we need to do this summer. So if $250 million means we got to also sell Rasmus or Garnacho and maybe even Mainu, which again, like that's the last person I want to sell. But if that's what needs to happen for him to get 250 or maybe he needs 300 million. I don't know what he needs. Maybe he needs 300 million to go out and get what he needs to get. I mean, he might decide to sell Diogo Dalot and go for a right wing back. I don't know. I'm not in those meetings. But I'm telling you right now that a manager who comes out with only 2 or 3 weeks left in the season and says something like he said today, where he said, we need to be strong, we need to be brave, we need to make a lot of changes this summer, or else maybe I need to move aside and let other people come take this space or open space for other people to come. That's him sending a clear signal to INEOS that back me or I'm probably out of here. I don't know what to tell you. I think we need to buy a lot more this summer. It's going to be 7. I really think we need to go 7. I think a lot of people think we're going to be buying 4 players. Man, 4 players better be the beginning. It better be 6, minimum 7 if we get everything we want. That's how much. Dude, the guy let 20 plus players go his first summer at Sporting and brought in like 8 or 9 players. That's Sporting. And also, by the way, he has a belief that you want to get a lot of players or half your players, most of your players from the same league you're playing in. So he is someone who actually wants to buy from within the Premier League. When he was at Sporting, it was one of his things that he told the technical director, sporting director, whatever, that we need to recruit more from within the Portuguese league because they'd be familiar with the league. I'm pretty sure that he wants half the incomings to come from the Premier League so that they're already ready to go and are already used to the pace and the physicality of the Premier League. It's going to be an interesting summer if they work with him and they give him what we want. Man, I'm not saying that we need to treat him like Erik ten Hag and give him every single player he wants and give him a veto. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying it should be a partnership. It should be, hey, this is the system we're going to run for the next 4 or 5 years, whether it's with Ruben or without Ruben. We're going to run a 3-4-3. We're going to want wingbacks that run up and down the pitch, that can attack just as good as they can defend. We need center backs that can hit the long ball and that can play the high line. We need center midfielders who can cover a lot of ground and also have very good short passing abilities. We need 2 number 10s in the middle, and we need a striker who can hold up the ball and use his body in ways that Rasmus could only dream of. If we're doing that, then it doesn't matter if Ruben Amorim succeeds or not, because we'll have the squad and the players for Pipo Inzaghi if he wants to come in, Xabi Alonso, or any other manager who likes to play a 3-back system. I really think Ruben Amorim is going to succeed. I really like this manager, and I am biased. I really believe in him. I've watched so many of his Sporting games and his games at Manchester United, and I've seen the little changes. I made videos about him to try and let you guys see what I see. I really think that he's going to succeed. But even if he doesn't, if we recruit right, then we'll have a squad that's built a certain way to move forward with that same style. And I really think the 3-back system is kind of the next evolution of what football is. And you guys, man, the ones who want Ruben out, guys, explain to me this. How come Pep Guardiola has managed this Man City team, which has much better players than we have, and he went through a losing streak this season? He went through a losing streak of, what was it, like 5, 6, or 7 games in a row? Or if it wasn't in a row, it was like 1 where he didn't lose, but then he had a bunch of... Anyway, he had a lot of losses for a streak, right? If he was managing our squad, that loss streak would have doubled. So if it was like 6 losses in a row, if he was managing our squad, it'd be like 12. Because he's another manager who doesn't just say, let's sit back and defend and hit him on a counter. He has a specific style of play. He's going to stick to that. And if the players can't perform it, they're going to lose the game. And then he's going to wait for a transfer window, pump a bunch of money in, and get the players that can actually do his style of play. Klopp the same way. Klopp isn't going to sit back and counter. Klopp's going to do what he does, which is the counter press. And if he has, let's say, older legs in defense and they can't play a high line, he's not going to stop playing the high line. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So for those of you who are like Ruben Amorim out, a competent manager would have won more games. Maybe, but that's by changing their style of play, which isn't going to move us forward in any way, shape, or form. And it's going to keep us somewhere in the top 10, but that's it. Like you're not winning anything. And you might finish in the top 4 every other season like we have been since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. I don't want to play Champions League every 2 or 3 years. I want to play Champions League every year, and I want to try to win it. And I want to win the Premier League too. And that's not going to happen unless we blow this whole thing up and build from the ground up. And blow this whole thing up might mean we finish 17th this year. It's fine. It's okay. It's all right. Let's not go crazy. This needs to be destroyed, and this is how you destroy it. And if INEOS doesn't do it, then they don't have the balls. They're not brave. They're not being strong, just like Amorim said. That's my opinion. I'm gone. Guys, if you're new, check out the video. That's right here in the link. Check this out. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. I'll see you soon when I'm done working on the Spurs video. Thank you very much. Bye.